Hi guys, today I'm here to get in the holiday spirit by talking about some products that just did not work for me. As always, if you love these products, more for you. I will not be shoving you out of the way to pick them up for myself. I did just get a blowout. That's kind of why I'm filming this video, is because I had absolutely no plans and I was like, somebody needs to see my hair. So I will link to the blow dry bar that I went to down below, and it was actually like a kiss event, so I got some fake nails put on in addition to getting my hair done. So I was like, I think I've got to film. So basically just talking about some products that did not work for me most recently. I don't think I did many of these this year, but I will list the playlist down below, but let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just realizing these aren't all products that necessarily launched this year, but they're products that I haven't never gotten around to telling you how much I dislike them. So the first one is from Profusion. This is the Amber Eyes palette. I was hoping this was going to be a nice dupe for the Modern Renaissance. Luckily, there's tons of dupes for the Modern Renaissance out there if you're curious. I did a video on a Wet n Wild one and a CoverGirl one. I will link those both down below. This is not one of them, in my opinion. I just found the eyeshadow formula was really bad, really powdery, and not in a good way. I don't mind a powdery eyeshadow if it has that creaminess, if it has a good blendability, but this had neither of that, and it also had like no lasting power. Even on initial application, it had no vibrancy. The shades kind of got all muddled together, and like I said, there's so many good options at the drugstore right now. You don't need to struggle to find a good, like, warm eyeshadow palette. So this one to me was a little bit disappointing. I don't know how prevalent Profusion is in Canada. If you have any idea, let me know down below, but this to me was a bit of a loss. I know I've seen some of Emily Noel's videos, and I think she might have liked maybe a face palette or something from them, but otherwise I'm really not that familiar with the brand, but this one to me was a definite miss. Another eyeshadow palette that just didn't do it for me is from Quo. This is a part of their Holiday 2018 collection. By the time this video is going up, I think I would have already had all my holiday content go up, so I should have covered the rest of Quo Holiday, which they have some great items, but this one was just not good. You know, with Quo, it's like you see it at the drugstore and you're kind of like, is it any good? It's probably not good. I don't hear anybody talking about it. This, if you were like to only pick this up, you'd probably never buy Quo again. I used it in an Instagram tutorial, which I will link to down below, and I just found, again, similar to the Profusion, there was no pigment. It just blended away on the eyes and it was so unimpressive. I was excited because the shade range actually looked quite nice, and they've got a highlighter palette, which is incredible, beautiful formula on that, but it was by no means duplicated in this eyeshadow palette. So this was definitely a letdown for me. Let's keep the eyeshadow thing going. This one for me was a color issue over a formula issue. I love the Just Peachy Mattes, one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes of all time. So I was really excited when the White Peach came out because I thought it was really different. And I still do. I think it's a really interesting selection of shades. There's nothing comparable out there, but I still feel like it just missed that depth. I even had a lot of fair people comment and say they couldn't really make it work either. And I have a 3 Looks 1 palette. I didn't give it a bad review because the performance was not bad, but it's just on my skin tone, it really fell flat. I really wanted to make this work because I was like, it's a cool combination of kind of warmer and cooler shades, and like I said, it is very unique, but it really lacked that little bit of depth. Like there was basically nothing I could put in my crease to create a look, like besides a black, which definitely is not my preference. So that was definitely, again, another miss for me. If you do have a more fair skin tone, let me know down below your experience with it. But if I had to choose between the two, I would 100% go with the Just Peachy Mattes. This palette is not new, but as I was picking through my collection, I came across it and I was like, oh yeah, that's not very good. It's the Essence Shape and Shadows Eye Contouring Palette. And again, when you see a brand like Essence, you think, you know, I remember when I first came across it years ago, I was like, why is it so cheap? It's probably not any good. And if this was the palette you reached for, it's just everything that's annoying in a palette. First of all, there's a cream in here which gets covered in powder. It's supposed to be for eyeshadows and eyebrows, but there's like one really ashy, almost green shade, a super dark brown, and then a really light blonde. So somebody who uses this won't be the person who uses this, won't be the person who uses this. So it's just a little bit odd. I don't mind the brush that comes in there. The little eyebrow highlight shade is fine, but I didn't like the primer or the fix wax as they call it. I don't think it could use as an eyeshadow primer, and I didn't like it as an eyebrow wax either. It's too thick and then it gets gunked up with product. And I think this was like 10 bucks. And not that 10 bucks is a lot of money, but this is not good. There's so many other good things you can get from Essence for $3. So this was definitely not something that I will be using. The only reason I held on to it was to tell you not to buy it. I have a few lash products that I want to mention, and lashes really divide the masses. It really depends on what you're looking from your mascara, what your eyelash condition is to begin with, etc, etc. But I did want to mention a few that I don't like in the case that perhaps you like a lot of the same mascaras as me. So Maybelline relaunched, or just kind of was re-promoting, their Falsies Volume Express. I used to use the Falsies all the time, but I think it was the one that was like black and purple. I don't know if that's exactly the same as this, but I used this in a Get Ready With Me, and it's not that it was bad, but like Maybelline Total Temptation, the Rocket, Lash Sensational, those are all incredible mascaras, and to me this just did not match up. It didn't do enough for my lashes. Then this one is from Mary Kay. I also used this one in a Get Ready With Me, and I chucked it right in the disappointing bin. It has a nice hard bristle brush, which I tend to like, but the problem is I don't know if it's something that's going on here or here, but it basically picked up no product. So it added basically no volume, no length. The brush almost felt like there was nothing on it. So I don't know if it's just an issue with the construction of the actual packaging, or if it's perhaps the formula, but either way, did not work. And then I have the CoverGirl Lash Blast Amplify Primer, and it's not that I think that this is really bad, but it doesn't compare to the L'Oreal Lash Primer. I like the Lash Paradise one, but I like the original the best. It's like $6 in a white tube, and it truly amps your lashes. If you're not a false lash girl like myself, or if you are a false lash girl and you want to dip your toes into just wearing mascara, it adds so much volume, so much length, pairs so well with just about any mascara that I've ever put it with, and it's so good and so affordable. So this one is okay, but I think the biggest issue with this one is that it has like this plastic bristle brush, which again doesn't distribute enough product onto your lashes. And when you're reaching for a primer, you want it to distribute enough product to actually amplify your lashes, and I just don't think that this goes far enough. The formula is okay. I do find it adds a little boost, but I definitely prefer the L'Oreal over this one. I'm very picky on my brow gel as of recently. I pretty much exclusively wear the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. There's a couple others that I like, but this one was a disappointment to me, mostly because it was so hyped up, and I feel like so many people loved it, so many people talked about it. I was like, wow, this could actually be a really good comparable product perhaps to my Benefit, where this is $5, the Benefit is like $30-ish. But I used it in a Get Ready With Me, so you can see it in action and see why I didn't like it. Not only did I feel like it didn't give enough hold, and the brush was almost like too small to really get into my brows. I've got a lot of brow hair, so I really need to get in there to hold things into place. It has like a matte color, so it's not completely clear in my opinion. It almost left like this dandruffy look, made it a little bit harder to work with, and it says it's clear, and I get that maybe they were trying to ensure that you didn't have like super shiny brows, but I'd rather have a shiny brow than like a matte dandruffy brow. And on top of that, it just didn't add enough hold either way. So for me, it is not worth the $5. If you're looking for a good drugstore brow gel, I really like the NYX Control Freak, but the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter has my heart. Got a product here from Physicians Formula. I think this launched late last year. I can't totally remember, and it doesn't say like the official name on here, but basically it's a cushion formula for a corrector. And the reason that I don't like this is it just is not pigmented enough. So you're getting two different shades in there. I like the idea of a cushion corrector because it feels like it's going to be really lightweight, but it's so lightweight that I really don't feel like you can correct that well. And I also don't love that it's a split pan, because what you're going to use orange or peach for, you're not going to use purple for, so you really don't want to mix them together. So I really feel like if they wanted to do like a priming kind of corrector, it's not the kind of thing that you're going to spot conceal with necessarily. You're going to kind of, you know, if you've got a lot of redness on your face, or you've got a lot of sallowness and you want to put like a light layer of purple on your skin before your foundation, but I feel like you'd have a hard time getting in and not mixing these two together. So if you're going to go in with a smaller brush, it's going to take a lot longer. It just, to me, doesn't feel like the best idea. And I just feel like the color is just so, it's so not there that by the time it goes on your skin, it just doesn't look very good. And Physicians Formula has stepped up their game tenfold over the past year. They have so much good stuff. I actually went to a launch party for their new 2019 line last night, so I don't know if that video is up yet, but if it is, I will link to it down below. So many good things. So pass on this and get some of their new stuff. Moving on to a couple of lip products that I want to mention. The first is this Lancome shaker. What do they call these? I don't remember, but these little shakers. They have matte ones that are actually super pretty, and this, it might just be a case of the shade, because this is the only one I've ever tried. This one is in the shade Boomerang, and it just doesn't do enough. It is very clear, if not 100% clear, unless you like really build it up. It has slight bit of milkiness. I don't mind the way that it looks on my lips, but I have lots of other lip glosses that look better, and I find this is a really thin formula, so it doesn't really stick around and it doesn't feel hydrating. So I needed to do something. I needed to give me color or a really beautiful glossy finish or hydration or some combination of those things, and I feel like this just didn't do enough. Packaging is super cute, but it had almost like a wet look on the lips, but not in a good way. Like kind of like if you had eaten a bunch of fried chicken, which please, but if you had eaten a bunch of fried chicken, it doesn't have that like juicy plump wetness. It's kind of like a greasy look, and then it didn't really stick around and it didn't really add color and it doesn't feel hydrating. So for me, this was just not worth it. I definitely recommend the matte ones. Those are super pretty. RIP to the Lancome Juicy Tubes. Those were delicious smelling and so juicy and so beautiful on the lips. I feel like they'll bring those back, honestly, this year, if I had to guess, for 2019. But yeah, this to me was meh. And then the other item is from Stellar Beauty. I reviewed them about a year and a half ago. I think I reviewed their foundation, a few products, and I really loved especially their blush. I thought it was gorgeous. This is a Canadian brand. They're at Sephora. But this is the Stardust Lip Powder Palette. And it's not that this doesn't do what it says it's going to do, but to me, I'm kind of like, I could just use an eyeshadow for this purpose. It's not that it's such an interesting formula that's so well suited to the lips, or the shades are so incredible and transformative or unique or anything like that. So I'm kind of like, this is basically just like a slightly creamier, like it's not 100% like an eyeshadow formula. It is a little bit creamier, so I'll give them that. And maybe if you're like a makeup artist and you're really looking for something, but I feel like for the majority of people, this is not the kind of thing that you're going to reach for enough to justify purchasing it, if that makes sense. Like it's basically a creamy eyeshadow, and I feel like if you do want to like amp up a lip look, first of all, there's tons of metallic lip products out there, or you can just grab for an eyeshadow that has a creamy formula and kind of blot that into your lips just a little bit so that it doesn't get too powdery. So it's not that this is bad, like it kind of does what it should do, but I feel like your money is better spent elsewhere, and I'd rather try like a blush or a lipstick from Stellar over this product. So these last two products are pretty much just a smell thing, which is very personal, but the first is from Korres. This is their olive line, so it's the hand cream olive blossom, and this scent, I can't even, I only used this once and I was like, that's going in the bin. It doesn't even smell that bad when you smell it. It has a little bit of like a mature grandma-y powdery scent, if that makes sense, but not in a good way, a really heavy way. And so much so that I put this on, I think I got it at an event, I came home and I put it on my hands before bed, to the point where I had to drag my butt out of bed and go wash it off my hands. It was so strong, and I'm not particularly sensitive to scents. I don't mind things being a little bit stronger, but this was just like, oh, it was so much, and I really did not like it. And almost no scent, no type of scent, even if I enjoy it, do I really want it to like assault my face like that. So it was just far too much, especially for a hand cream. You end up touching your face, or you end up eating or something, like it's just, it's too much. Then I bought this again in the United States. This is the, I don't know why, like I have such misses when I go to the United States, but this is the Shea Moisture African Black Soap Problem Skin Moisturizer. And this was when my skin was really bad. I bought this again in San Francisco over Christmas last year. And this is the African Black Soap Problem Skin Moisturizer. I already said that, I think. It says it's for clearing and balancing blemished, oily skin. So I was like, awesome. But when I opened this, if you've ever used it, oh my god, it reminds me of my childhood so much, because I think I had like a Shea Moisture shea butter type of hair product. This smells like my childhood. It's crazy scent how it can just like bring you back so much. But The problem is it smells exactly like a hair product that I had, and it is so heavy. My skin is a little bit more dry right now, but that really heavy scent and the really heavy feel of the product is terrifying to me. So if you have oily, problematic skin, this is the last thing you're gonna wanna put on your face. I don't even think I ever even put it on my face because I was too scared. Like, it just feels like it's going to clog the crap out of your skin. It has a really hard texture. I mean, my apartment's a little bit cold right now. It's the dead of winter, but it really, I think the first ingredient is like shea butter, which can be great for your skin depending. I'm no expert. First ingredient is water, then shea butter, then vegetable emulsifying wax, then jojoba oil, then mango seed oil, chalamuga oil. So I have no problem with oils. I put an oil on my face every night. If I'm not wearing makeup during the day, sometimes I'll put an oil on my face. But this to me just feels way too heavy. There's so many good gel cream moisturizers out there, or lightweight oils. I've done all kinds of videos on my recommendations. If you have tried this and enjoy it, let me know. But yeah, this just terrified me. From the smell and the texture, it just felt very, very heavy, and it just really surprised me that this is something that they're recommending to people with problem skin, because when you have problem skin, you really don't want to put anything heavy on your face, and not necessarily just by weight, but just the feel. Like when I had cystic acne, it was painful and it was red, and it just felt like every little thing irritated it, and you want something that's going to feel moisturizing and hydrating, and that's going to soothe and help your skin feel replenished. And this just felt like a heavy scented mask, which I did not like. Anyways, I just talked about that for way too long. So anyways, that is everything that I have not loved over the past little while piling up in my bad basket. Let me know down below what disappointed you this year, and thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!